So
I see. It's okay.
all right. No. Let's see.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Good afternoon, members of the press and fellow citizens. We welcome you all to this press conference organized by Gambians Against Looted Assets. But to start, we want to state that accountability is the bedrock of democracy, and transparency is not a privilege, but a right, and justice must be timely, visible, and complete if it's going to mean something at all. In 2017, the government established the Ghana Commission of Inquiry to investigate the illegal enrichment and financial misconduct of the former President Yahya Jammeh and his associates. The commission uncovered widespread corruption and recommended that over 200 properties, including corporate holdings and bank accounts, be freezed. This effort was part of a broader transitional justice commitment under the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, which documented systematic human rights violations and highlighted economic crimes as pillar of regime's oppressive mechanism. The final TRC report affirmed restoration and transparency as essential in national healing. These two commissions, funded by Gambian taxpayers, provided the legal and moral basis for redress and for reclaiming the future. However, recently, Gambians were shocked by an investigative report from the Republic entitled "The Assets of the Gambia's Former Dictator Go for a Sum," which exposes serious irregularities in the disposal of recovery assets. According to the report, public assets were sold below market value through approach channels and without any public audit. In a statement, on the same time, the government confirmed that asset disposal followed a two-stage process. The Ghana Commission followed a ministerial task force and promised to publish a full report in due course. We acknowledge this promise, but in due course is not acceptable when the public assets are at stake. Delay in transparency is denied in accountability. Therefore, we ask the following questions. Which assets were sold? Who bought them and at what price? How were the buyers selected? And where did the procedure go through? For these transactions bypass proper procedures, serve as political and personal interests, there must be consequences and heads must roll where wrongdoings occur. We, Ghana, will hold a peaceful protest to advance these demands. Under our constitution, freedom of assembly is lawful and principal right. We have requested for a permit, and unfortunately, we want to inform you that the office of the IGP this afternoon called the group, and then this is the letter address. Request for permit to hold a peaceful demonstration. Office of the IGP of the police acknowledge receipt of your letter dated May 6, 2025 in relation to the caption above. We are pleased to inform you that your permit request is not approved. Kindly accept assurance of the Inspector General of Police in maintenance of peace and security. Therefore, as we said, with or without permit, is our fundamental right to protest, and we will protest. And what inspired this protest, we want to ask the following questions and demand to be met. First, immediate publication of a full list of all seized and stolen properties, including buyer's name and final sale price. Full disclosure of allocation of proceedings, including any payment to intermediaries and agencies. Independent public oversight of asset disposal process by the National Assembly, the National Audit Office, and the civil society representatives. Immediately, the Gambian government should withdraw its nomination of the former Minister of Justice, Abubakar Batambedu, to the ICC court. We call on the President of the Republic of the Gambia to immediately address the nation regarding these unforgettable and forgivable findings that threaten our collective progress as a people. Therefore, this protest, to be clear, is not political. is a call for truth, justice, and restoration of public trust. We invite all Gambians, students, workers, survivors of injustice, and patriots to stand with us. This is a defining moment for our democracy and governance, and the work of the Janneh Commission and the TRRC must not fade into scare. We cannot rebuild our nation on a foundation of impunity. We cannot honor victims with mere words. We must act, and we must act now. Therefore, regardless of being permitted to protest under the Public Order Act, the IGP have no right whatsoever to deny citizens from peaceful assembly. We are not gonna be irresponsible. We are responsible citizens, and tomorrow by 11 o'clock we are going to gather at the National Assembly to march to the 80 chambers to deliver our petition that carries our message, our demands, and the petition. And this cannot be stopped, and this will not be stopped. Thank you. So we'll have our colleagues. We'll have to translate this too quickly in local languages. We have Quran, Wolof, Mandinka.
No, I think they get the message. It's very clear. Jërëjëf Jeff, ñu leen di nuyu, di leen sant, di leen gërëm. Yéen a ko dégg, explain na ko yëpp. Lu nekk ci background bi, press conference bi tey boo ko déggee am na lu xewoon, right? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. maa ngi leen di nuyu di leen sant di leen gërëm waa ngay comprendre yéen a ko fi dégg ñu explain ba pare mooy ne the Association of Gambians against loot assets, right? There are loot assets and a lot of things going on in town, but you know, Gambian ne lu ko gën a taxawu lu di jóg te di wax mooy report boo xam ne génn na leeral boo xam ne amul kenn ci Gambian bi ne njuut jaar na ci affaire yi assets of Yaya Jammeh how naka lañ ko disposé parce que Janneh commission moo daan investigate ba pare nga am assets yoo xam ne nguur bi decide ne dinañ ko jaay loolu nag nu mu demee moom lañ nettali by the Republic newspaper bu ñoo wax Republic dëkk bi yëpp di laajte lii naka la mun a xewe ñun tam dafa mel ni loolu moo ñu tax a jóg man moom xam ngeen ne maa ngi ci woon for 8 years di ko wax di ko binda right di ko woy so li ngeen gis nekkul loo xam ne dañ toog rek di wax dafa nekk loo xam ne dafa yàgga Gambien si di laajte boobu nag Omar statement bu ñu fi jógee the purpose of that statement mooy ñu ngeen continuer si laajte boobu right ne suñu right la as Gambians am access to information mooy boo xam ne parliamenti Adama Barrow right or parliamenti Gambia pass nañ ko government Adama Barrow ñu pass bill bi ne access to information that Gambia képp koo xam ne yaa ngi si réew mi da nga am right pour am any information boo xam ne dafa important for the taxpayer. So in that spirit ñun loolu lañ jóg nag parce que report bi buñ jëlee depuis léegi dégganguñ dara ci nguur bi officially am na luñ dégga ñu ne waaw within a reasonable time or whatever xamul kan la dinañ publish list ban list bi nga xam ne moo wone right asset bu nekk wala bagage bu nekk kan moo ko jënda liste boobu nag ba tey ñu ngoo xaar waaye dañ gis ne tam dañ war a jóg pour demonstrate nekkul ne pour create any trouble peacefully right si jàmma right ak naka si jàmma ak si lu dem si yoon pour wone Gambian si ne am na loo xam ne am na soxla si ñun yëpp xam ngeen ne report bi bu mu génnee Ba Tambadou Justice Minister waxoon na ne assets yu fa nekk ci report bi dem na almost 300 plus properties. 340 something million dollars, different from Dallases. So reasonable people say almost $1 billion missing. It's a generational wealth. That is a generational wealth. So if generational wealth is missing, we must ask a generational question. And this is a generational press conference. If $1 billion is missing, and then you report the procedure of how they are disposed. We are talking about the Republic only, not no. Bobu indi wut ñu fi lan mo lo xamne leral nañ ko ci report bi mom la ci wax. So ci lolu nak mu joye mu ne dañ wara xam suñu statement bi dañ wara xam fan la tollu. Asset bu nekk kan moo ko jaay, kan moo ko jënda, ñaata lañ ko jëndee, value bi naka lañ ko amee, because ñoom critical questions la. So leen xoolee report bi, the receiver was Augustus Prom. It's a prominent accounting firm in the Gambia. For 20, 30 years of practice. While we saw in the report, Augustus Prom, there were people complaining in the commission, he gets 10% is too much. You know, when his term expired, they remove him. Why they indicate for him? It's a one-man company. How can a one-man company dispose of all the assets of a generation? Alpha Capital, established in 2017, started selling 1 year later $1 billion of assets. There are questions to be answered. The former Justice Minister himself said in his statement to the Republic, yeah, if I help my family get a plot of land between Jembe Hotel and Palmarima, I didn't get it for myself as Justice Minister, but if I call and follow up the people doing that procedure, then yes, it might have been a conflict of interest. Come on, journalists. The Justice Minister already admitted to conflict of interest. But we are saying that is more than just one man's statement of admission of conflict of interest. It is incumbent, an obligation on every Gambian. Ñun ñep dañ wara gis ne alali Alpha Capital ñu go establish 1 year, you pay a commission of $89 million to sell a few assets. That's just what we can see. Augustus Prom put aside an established firm. A government should deal with established firms. Justice Minister Chibopam admitted that they withdraw the established firm and they brought in a new firm that was established 1 year with no audited accounts, no track record. Statement be, every Gambian has a right to peaceful assembly. Adama Barrow di ko buñ ko sànnile carte 2017 loolu mooy suñ Gambians suñ d'accord ak moom ne képp ku nekk ci Gambia bi am nga a right to peaceful assembly. I saw violent passing here. I see only responsible people, young men and women who are independent, going about their daily lives, not dependent on any particular person, right, and asking for transparency. Barrow bugut lendem te dinañ ko xam da Barrow buga na lendem nga dega Barrow bugut lendem amna lu lendem. $1 billion is missing. Assets have been sold. Shares. Look at it. Let's get this story. Go back to the Republic. Gum Petroleum. 70% of a mayor company on paper sold to Social Security and other parastatals and took cash from them of $300 million. And here are people sitting online talking about small corruptions. But the Jammeh Commission itself was investigating why Yaya Jammeh and Social Security invested in Gum Petroleum. So that was a lesson. But then after the commission, we came back and repeated the same mistake to take the taxpayers' money and buy overvalued shares. 300 million. Just to give 10%, 30 million cut to a newly established accounting firm for investment. Well, pretty sorry. I didn't new fee. I'm not smart and guy we have a right to peaceful protest. There's peaceful protest based against the person as a Gambian group by one night go digger above this room. The guy, the villager in Wellingara should know what is happening. That we have an inheritance of a whole generation. All the TDA is your inheritance. That land belongs to the people. If we let it go, our grandchildren will be renting. You will be in your grave, and your grandchildren will be renting. Some people say, why now? It is now that is the best time to talk about it. You cannot go and protest based on Mamadi Kurang's personal statement. Does it make sense? But you have an investigative report that gave the chance for the justice minister, for the investors, for the lead counsel who knows Augustus Prom. And the lead counsel, the Justice Minister Batambe is saying he don't know the Alpha Capital people, but the lead counsel of Jammeh Commission, Amit Bensouda, must have known them. There are more questions to be answered. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum. Me move control na diamo resiala because diamla flore diamo be banne Omar Ali Alhaji Mahmoud Kurang be media meeting to the camp kana kamola press conference ka broadcast na diamo kana menti wala mine be fu man e suwa ka woni English ka wala ko man do grupo fende da gala me alon ko na literal sapelun kunu ko ka samba inspector general of police ya kaitan la ko komando logo komando news la pindra from the republic kaitan di ko na putinya mekela no Jammeh Commission de me establish ja 2017 so ndalani ni karo be tarana da kusa mano latara kano ya jambela naflu ya jambela sadio ya jambela property ya wapu jumania that is the only thing that taka me kade so latara purman sakunda through the Ministry of Justice I fully stop bandina nimpaka so ni moto ni kordal ni me asara ya sayda so that is the whole sense of what we have here so the latest from make science I later also now from the IG and pamito ni tinay so until ko nga punya responsibility to live here and it is our constitutional right to go outside to protest which we are going to do tomorrow at 11 o'clock so the media be invited the political be invited this is not about politics this is about the Gambia because na bangko state be nyane nim mo buli na diam ni apa nyame Jammeh so la jam be ko mara kende so the 5-hour country we need to stand firm so kamala be gambero be ko mala so by 11 o'clock we all meet at Banjul National Assembly we are peacefully no insult no nothing we go to the minister and deliver our letter to them and they will disperse so thank you our PRO will take some questions.
Thank you very much, Jerejef Mamadou Kurang and Baraka Buba. Just to state one thing, the purpose of this protest is not just for the assets and to clear those assets ceased to belong to Jammeh after 2016. They were still assets, and then also this protest is beyond just assets. This protest is about ensuring that our governance system is run on the account of accountability and transparency, honesty and integrity. So we'll take questions from the press. If you have any questions, any clarifications, we'll take questions quickly, and then we will end this conference. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. So,
No.
yes.
Okay. Since government has denied you guys to commit to all your peaceful protests, are you guys convinced that the government is willing to cooperate with you guys or any department, to release the assets of the former president or whatsoever, whether it's public owned? Is government ready?
So, I cannot speak for government, right? But what I can say is we have, honestly, I'm on camera, we have a very, very terrible government and that have covered this up. You see, the conversations doesn't start today. What Mustafa and the Republic did was to have a systematic report. But the mismanagement of funds, sales of the Jammeh properties have been a conversation since 2017. And the government were never willing to release it. And when Ba left, without accusation, Ba knew that he has an opportunity to finish what he has started and make a name for himself in the history of transitional justice in the world. But he ran away because he knows he will be messy if he completes it to this day. Dawda came and Dawda cover up. Whether they are cooperative or not, and that's why we are here. We are going to put pressure on them. It's our fundamental human right to receive information from them, but the Access to Information Act or law. And therefore, we are going to use that. We are going to use our fundamental right to take this risk to ensure that the list is released, accountability is assured, and heads role for corruption, for lack of integrity, and for dishonesty in our governance system.
Okay, follow up.
Please, let me run the questions first. Follow-ups are going to be a bit. I will run up. Please, we can copy that. Yes, Dawda.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dawda Balde. First, I have a comment on your question. First, we say thank you for standing to ensure that there is justice in the issue, because corruption is evident in the government as per reports, according to December reports, which is just one full side. Okay, my question is, now that the police have denied your permit, and then under the Gambian laws, protesting without a permit is illegal. So what is going to be the those going out tomorrow to protest without permit?
Alright, so I think there is a misconception on what protest is and in the seek of permit. Protest is not illegal under the Gambian law. It is restricted by the Public Order Act. And one of the restrictions is you need to seek for a permit if you are going on public possession and using a PA system. And then that was the first plan. But as much as we are denied permit, taking the streets is a must, and we will go by the confinement of what the Public Order Act said, but the possession and the use of Public Order Act. So there is no illegality in protest. In fact, that is a bad law, and protesting tomorrow is protesting against a bad law and against corruption.
Yeah. Well,
I will take Momodu. Yes.
Please. This is Sharif in the media. What do you say to the critics that this is the time that you're coming up with this protest? I know for Alaji have been, talking about this corruption at Jammeh Commission since day one. But some of you today, this is the day we are seeing you. And there was a day at the National Assembly where the Attorney General, Dawda Jallow, stood there and said that they're not going to disclose the buyers of Jammeh assets. And there was no reaction. Like, when I say reaction, meaning to go out and protest.
Yes, so probably for the records, personally I've never been quiet on anything that has to do with governance in this country for the past 8-9 years. But that is not it. Those who are trying to say the wrong timing, probably they want to also pick the public space. But there is nobody to determine what time I want to exercise my right to protest and speak on issues, and nobody can tell us what is urgent to protest against awful. You see, Muhammad Quran made mention that these are conversations that have been going on by allegations of individuals without a systematic report, no investigation. That, remember, we're not saying a report by Standard newspaper or Point, we are saying an investigative report. Journalists know the difference between a normal report, a mouth to say, and an investigative report, right? And therefore that is solid to tell us that it's high time we pursue. But remember, if you read the statement of the Ministry of Justice, they did not debunk the evidence base in the report, they just created grammar that shows there is something hidden that has been revealed by the Republic. And then the fact that is today we want to protest, we have all right to protest, and we never think we don't have a right to protest can be a counter protest. That is human rights and democracy. Yes, Mohammed.
So thank you very much, Ahmad. I am a freelance journalist. So my question is, in 2023, the current Minister of Justice said they are not going to reveal the names. But of recent, we see compliance that the names will be revealed. But in the press release, they stated that it will be released, in due course. So, with the issue of the transitional justice process in the Gambia, and knowing that all these assets that have been confiscated from the former president belongs to Gambians, and we have victims of the former president, Yahya Jammeh. As per the protest that you will be staging tomorrow, how impactful will this protest be when it comes to the asset recovery of all the things that have been confiscated, and how is it going to impact the victims of the former president?
Thank you very much for that question. Generally, in transitional justice process, both post-dictatorship and post-conflict, assets of perpetrators are used to repair victims. And if you look at the amount of money, the amount of assets, it's disappointing today that we are struggling with our reparations commission on how to fund it, and we are going outside to pay. This was enough to repair and restore healing and confidence and trust, not just in the victims, but the general public. So our demands are that the list is out. And the good thing is, I don't know if I should trust this, I don't trust politicians, but we have seen a lot of people, including National Assembly members, that are raising questions and then demanding for answers. And it's for me, it's a joint force that at the end of the day, an investigation must be mounted. And then this is going to comprise of not just government, not just the National Assembly, but every citizen, including victims of Yahya Jammeh, to ensure that investigations are done, wrongdoings are validated, and held through accountability.
I mean, here you are commending politicians and National Assembly members for speaking up, when in 2023, the Justice Minister clearly told parliamentarians that the report will not be seen by public, only parliamentarians, but we don't hear any action from them. Don't you think they are also joining bandwagon just to get that momentum?
Yes, of course. That's why I said I don't trust politicians. As of now, until our demands are received and acted on, every politician, every public official is part of this corruption, is complicit to the crime, and we are not validating anybody. But also the fact that they are speaking, now we have a point to go after them to ensure they don't just camouflage us, but they speak what they believe in, and then we go after them. So that's the thing. In 2023, I have spoke to few of the National Assembly have reached out to us when that conversation came, that they have asked for the list, but the only list that is handed over to them is the list of land properties. And then the assets go beyond that. I have seen hills and islands. I don't know who bought those ones, but we'll get to the end of this matter. Yes.
Good afternoon, I'm Ismail Abba for the West Side Digital. I want to ask if you have submitted your permit at the AG chambers. So if they haven't given you the true details about who has bought the permit, the lands and whatsoever, so now what is going to be your next step?
For me, to be honest, tomorrow's protest is the part of a revolution I have been trying for in this country for far too long. We are going to protest tomorrow, and we are going to give timelines, because they say in due course, that can be 10 years. We don't accept that. We will give timelines to the Ministry of Justice, and we will follow up. If they fail to do, we will take the streets again, but also, as we speak, we are going to try the courts. We are going to try all mechanisms to ensure we get to the end of this. Like I said, this is not about these assets. This is about to bring sanity, integrity, honesty, accountability, and transparency in our government system. This is the birth of a revolution that will bring the change in this country. I can assure you that. Yes, your follow-up question.
You said you are going to give timeline to government in regard to assets release. Do you think government is going to comply with your timeline? Looking at the competition.
I think that question is answered. I am not government. And I am not.
Are you convinced?
I am not spokesperson of government. Government doesn't have to convince me. I hire them to do a job for me. I'm replacing for that job. They do it, we cooperate. They don't do it, we continue holding them accountable. Yes. Thank you. So thank you very much, media. We must say thank you for coming. And then tomorrow is the most important. Please show up. And then even if one person is at that protest, the media is important to amplify his or her voice. You are the mouthpiece of the public, and then see you tomorrow. And thank you for coming.
Just a quick one. When I asked my question in the first place, you didn't finish answering.
Okay.
My question was, what happened to individuals who will take the street tomorrow without a permit in case there is...
Nothing will happen to them. They are exercising their fundamental human rights, and I hope IG must have mistakenly rejected this permit. He will provide security tomorrow and make sure we are protected. That's what is supposed to happen. And until tomorrow, we all know that the IG is one serious person who should know that his asset, Adama Barrow's asset, Dawda Jallo's asset, Omar Sabo's asset have been stolen and then mismanaged and embezzled. And then we are speaking for Adama, we are speaking for we are speaking for Dawda, and we are speaking for Baba Tombo, Jara and the IG. So they will give us a permit and in silence until tomorrow. We cannot say any other thing. Thank you.
Right.